Hey, what's up guys, Code here with a tutorial on how it might sometimes be useful to process strings as you would a guitar. Now, I've got a bit of a film soundtrack style song going on here, and this part right here that I've just muted is a string part that is supposed to come in right now. And I've already completely processed and mixed this, but I will show you the process in which I did it. For once, I'm not going to do it from scratch, but just go through the devices to save everybody some time. So the string part in itself, just the raw strings sound like this. If you'd like to take a look at the notes, it's nothing particularly special. I would like to give shout out to Malkus. I downloaded his refill years and years and years ago, and this patch, AllMark Strings, has been in my library ever since, and I've always used it. It's basically just a combinator with the orchestra sound bank samples all put into one, and then he applied some reverb and panned them a little or mixed them a little. Nothing too special, nothing too fancy, but let's get into processing. So if we take a listen to the entire part, the strings are quite overpowering, and they also sound kind of dry and like they don't fit into the mix whatsoever. So I'm going to go through the effects chain and tell you what I did there. So let's listen to the part together with the strings. It works in principle, but there's a lot of steps that we can take to make them sound nicer. So just gonna set up a loop here, and maybe let's also switch this to solo so you can hear what I'm doing. So first of all, I've got a D filter. This is set to bypass, and I've got no automation. The filter is completely open. That is, I tend to do that sometimes because sometimes I won't be able to decide whether I want to apply some filter automation, for example. That's just the reason the filter is here. Then we've got a Screenphone, and this is the first time that the signal is actually affected. So I've got this set to tape with a medium amount of damage control. Please keep in mind that damage control in the Screenphone is always dependent on the input gain. So you might achieve very good results with just a tiny amount of damage, but that is due to the fact that you might have a high input gain for the signal that comes into the Screenphone, or you might have to turn it all the way up to even hear an effect. That would be the case if you had a very quiet original source. So let me just switch this on here. And you can immediately hear that the strings become much more present, and also they have a nice sort of tape distortion type of attack. That's due to the compression algorithm that's built in with the tape setting. I've got speed and compression set at relatively moderate levels, but you can already hear it comes out quite almost like an electrical guitar, which gives it a lot more presence, especially in the middle frequencies. I then couldn't help myself but to add another compressor, also due to the fact that I wanted the input gain or the overall volume quite a bit louder. So let's listen to what the difference of the compressor makes. This just completely squashes the signal. I think I probably overdid it a bit there, but I mean, we all learn from our own mistakes. And then I'm going to add another effect, which is the echo. That's just a simple delay that adds sort of a drive and a rhythm to the string patch. So instead of complete quarter notes, we are now sort of playing semi-eighth notes, because the time is set to an eighth. So that sort of buffers out the little gaps between the notes. And then finally, when we come to the mixer, I like to concentrate on the frequencies that we really need, because nobody needs this low-end rumble down here. So I'm just going to adjust my filters here a little bit to give them much more mid presence. And with that, if I put them into context, They stop being overpowering, they don't sound dry anymore, and they sit nicely with the other elements in the mix due to the fact that we did this filtering here in the mixer. We can sort of compensate for the lost frequencies of the filtering process by compressing, applying a bit of distortion, and also I like the fact that especially this tape algorithm with the Screenphone adds a bit more impact to each one of those string stabs. So as I said, this was just a quick tutorial, nothing necessarily fancy, but I thought it might help one or two of you guys out, and I quite like processing strings, especially in a electronic setting like this, quite like I would process an electric guitar. And yeah, it's served me well so far. I heard, that's non-confirmed, but I think I remember watching a documentary on Hans Zimmer's works, where for Pirates of the Caribbean 2 he sent strings through various guitar amps to create a sort of rock style feeling. But I don't want to ramble on. With this, I remain Dorincourt, and I say Dorincourt out.